Pittsburgh Steelers in the 70s, the 49ers in the 80s, the Cowboys in the 90s, then the dynasty of the New England Patriots. And when you live out in the West Coast, San Francisco sports is so rich. The Warriors were great in the 70s, dormant for a long time, then exploded. And I really feel like the Niners were great, had a couple of rough years, went down, and I think we're on the precipice of something that's going to last for a long, long time. Very few veteran stars. We get lucky once in a while on this show, and we have Joe Staley, who's going to be a first-ballot Hall of Famer, 13 years in this league, half of them as a Pro Bowler. If you don't have a good left tackle, I don't care about the rest of your offensive line. It doesn't work. He's great, joining us via the Coward Global Satellite Network. You know, Joe, it's funny. Your Niner career is interesting. It was bumpy at first, and then you get Harbaugh, and then after Jim, it gets bumpy, and now once again, you got it streamlined. When did you know, Joe, with Kyle Shanahan? When did you sense, like, this guy is high-end, he's smart, and this structure works? When did you know and sense it was going to click?
Well, just watching him throughout the league as he was a coordinator, I just really was interested in playing in a style of offense. And then getting the opportunity to have him here as a head coach and then meeting him face-to-face. And then he really just kind of sat down with me when he first got here. It was just set his vision for this franchise and what he wanted to accomplish and how he was going to go about doing it. Him and John Lynch make a great pairing, and front office and coaching staff and the staff that he brought in. And so it was pretty immediate as far as once I got to be around him, see how he sees the game of football and how he wanted to attack it, and then built this franchise, that I was really excited, because at that point, like you said, I had gone through a lot of different coaching changes and a lot of down years in a row there after Harbaugh left. And, I didn't know how many more years I had left in me of kind of doing a rebuild, and, football wasn't that much fun anymore. So, Kyle, I give him a ton of credit of just reigniting that fire into me, and just happy I'm still here.
You got hurt this year, and I remember when Jimmy played, Garoppolo was a Patriot, and I kept saying on the air, I worked in another place, you people are nuts. This kid can play. Somebody go get Jimmy Garoppolo. There's like 9 teams in the league that need a quarterback, and then San Francisco went out and got Jimmy G a few years ago. When did you know? Again, you're watching him at practice every day. You've had a lot of quarterbacks you played with. When did you know, your epiphany, like, this kid's different, we can get to a Super Bowl with him?
It was, it's a cliche to kind of say it, but it was pretty immediate when he got here, and just the kind of command, the natural command that he had in the huddle. He had no idea about the offense. He had no idea about, the play calling, the intricacies of running Kyle Shanahan's scheme. And but he just had a presence about him, and the way he came to work every single day and the preparation that he put in. You just knew that this kid, had something special. And and then he got to be out there in the field in that 2017 year, led us to 5 straight wins to end the season. So we had a lot of confidence going into the 2018 year, and then everybody knows about the injury that happened. But
right.
People really were fired up about him being our quarterback to pretty much the moment that he got here.
It's interesting. You were one of the young stars at left tackle in the first Super Bowl. You're now one of the few old stars at your position on this team. Did you prefer being the young star or the grizzled veteran guys look up to?
Both are unique in their own ways. I'm really, cherishing the moment of being an old veteran player on this roster. I think we have a lot of, great leaders in this football team, and I'm privileged to be, considered one of them. But, I think each year kind of brings its own challenges, and this year was, more so for me, just because you said, like, the injuries that I've gone through this season, and it was more about, guys having to lift me up. And, I was going through about, 6-8 weeks there where I was, real down in just the rehab process, and wanted to be a part of the football team and be on the football field, and not being able to be a part of that. And so, trying to do what I could behind the scenes and making sure that our, young guys were ready. And also just the great leaders that we have in this football team, like Sherman and Buckner and Jimmy and Juice and, Raheem, and just across the board, guys making sure that I'm ready when my time came back.
Listen, you at left tackle, you have to deal with the best pass rushers in the National Football League. The Khalil Macks are the guys that you have to face. So here's Nick Bosa. He's a kid. He's a baby. He leaves college early. And, I mean, I don't recall. I covered Warren Sapp as a rookie in Tampa years ago in my media career, years and years ago. He didn't look anything this good this early. Are you shocked? Is Nick as good a defensive line talent out of college as you've ever faced?
Yes, and it was pretty immediate as well. Typically, there's a kind of a learning curve coming out of college and going to the NFL. It's for a defensive lineman. It's much more nuanced, and it's not just about winning with athleticism or speed. And he completely skipped over that learning curve. I mean, it was pretty immediate from the first time I faced him in training camp that this kid was different. I think a lot of that has to do with his family, his older brother, teaching him, and his dad teaching him at a young age about the nuances of defensive line play and pass rush and how to use your hips, how to use your hands, and obviously super talented physically and all the athleticism in the world. But he has a real knowledge-based rush plan to his game that he uses every single day, and an extremely hard worker. So when you pair those two things together, along with the crazy athleticism and natural talent, you're going to get what you get. And it was actually kind of relieving for me once we got to the regular season because of the battles that we had in training camp. And I was kind of starting to, a little creep in my mind, starting to go, and maybe you don't have it anymore. You're kind of getting old, man. This young guy coming out of college is working a little bit in training camp. But it was kind of relieving to be able to see that he was doing it to every single person that he faced this year. And what a special talent.
Well, you are as well, Joe. By the way, I got to show this video. You were a sprinter in high school. You were a track and field star. Not many guys who are 6'6", 315 or whatever you are high school track and field stars. I was told we have a piece of video of you lead blocking for Alex Smith against the Saints in 2012. So this will verify it. Is this it? I want to watch this because I want to. Oh, good God, that is you. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Now, can you still pick him up and put him down that much? Are you still that fast?
Yeah, not as frequent and not as consistent as it once was. But also, when I wasn't 310 pounds when I was in high school. I was about 205, 210, so I was a lot leaner. Believe it or not, I actually played receiver in high school, kind of receiver tight end combo, and then got recruited to Central as a 220-pound tight end, and then just kept on growing. So yeah, I played my first game at tackle at about 245. So I kind of had quite the journey to get here. Well,
the Niners don't need you to play tight end anymore. You guys have a guy, Kittle. He's a pretty talented guy, so I think you're safe staying at tackle. Joe, you're an all-time great. You're going to be a Hall of Famer, and good luck to you on Super Bowl Sunday.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Joe Staley, can you imagine that? It is amazing. J.J. Watt's story is the same. Wisconsin, they recruit J.J. Watt, and he's this skinny, tall kid. And all of a sudden, like 2 years later, he goes in the weight room, puts on 45 pounds. Like, J.J. Watt was a no-star recruit. And then his brother comes up, and everybody's like, no. His brother looks just like J.J., T.J. Watt, who's a monster for the Steelers.
Men grow a lot in that year between your senior year until about your third year of college.
7 inches. High school, my junior year in high school, I have my driver's license. In my senior year, I left my junior year. I was a tiny little point guard. I came back for my senior year, and I quarterbacked my high school team.
Yeah.
I grew 7 inches.
My brother grew 2 inches in college, and I think he put on 60 pounds. So, yeah, you could be two different people in that year. So you could definitely change positions in the football field.
Good stuff with Joe Staley. Joy Taylor with the news.
No.